Hey guys, it's Morgan coming to you with a real short video. I just want to talk to you guys about why we as suspension shops recommend that you change the oil, at least service your suspension every 40 to 50 hours. Because you hear that number and you're like, oh my gosh, that's a lot, that costs a lot of money, it's really often. Why should I do that? The fork seals aren't leaking, why do it? So I want to go over why you should do that. On a modern, we're just going to talk about closed chamber forks today, but it actually, it even applies more to open chamber stuff, but I'll show you why here. I'm doing a set of forks. These are Showa closed chambers. Let's talk about the outside oil in the tube. So this tube, as you guys know, slides up and down like this, doing, 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 as you hit things, right? So if we open this up, we see that we have a bushing here and a bushing here, and those slide up and down, right? Now, as they slide up and down, very, very small amounts of material, there's oil in here, but the very, very small amounts of material wear off of these bushings and the chrome and the aluminum of this tube. If you have good oil and you do it often, not much comes off and it stays really clean and stays slippery and it's all good. But if you go too long, you start to wear more. The other thing that happens when it's moving is heat builds up because there's friction. There's some friction, it's not completely free of friction. So heat builds up and heat breaks down oil. So as that happens, the oil breaks down, and in the outer chamber, it doesn't do that much other than potentially wear parts, but it doesn't affect the damping of the fork that much. You should change that too. It is important. It just keeps everything clean, keeps everything moving smoothly and nice. I'm gonna get the cartridge, we'll take that out and show you even more why it's super important in there. Alright guys, so now we've got the inner cartridge apart. So this is the rod, this is the damper rod that goes inside this fork tube, okay? So it goes down through here. Anyway, this piston moves up and down inside this chamber. Now it has a piston band on it, and obviously there's oil in it. So that is minimizing the friction and minimizing the amount of wear on parts. But as we discussed earlier, if there's anything moving, there is going to be some wear. So as this thing moves up and down, it does wear small particles of aluminum off the inside of the cartridge. Also small parts come off this piston band and they go in there. It also creates heat, which breaks down the oil. Now here's the important part, guys. Here's why the quality of your suspension matters a lot to have it changed. If you look right here, let's see if we can see. Hang on. If we, come on, focus. There we go. So look right in here. You see, these are shims. It's kind of hard to show you. Let me see if I can show you how they move. I don't know how easy it's going to be. It's hard to tell, but they flex, and I've shown this on other videos. The oil comes through here, out here, and it flexes those shims. The same with on this mid valve shim stack. You have focus. There we go. You have a shim stack there, and it flexes. Now, let me show you up here. So basically, let's see. We've got the shaft here, and we've got shims like this. Obviously, they're much tighter together than that and all that good stuff. When the oil comes through, it's moving through the oil, or the oil is pushing oil through it, either way, it comes, these flex, right? They're gonna flex up. What happens is if you get too many particles built up in here, they can't flex like they're supposed to. They stick together and they don't flex and move. And what that does is it makes your suspension more harsh. The other thing that happens is if the oil breaks down too much, it gets too thin because it loses its viscosity as it gets heated up, it will move through too quickly and cause a harsh feeling because it's blowing through the stroke, they call it, because it's coming through too fast. So all those little things slowly but surely add up to suspension that doesn't work very well. So that's why we recommend changing it frequently and having a shop that does, if you're not going to do it yourself, have a shop that does things like take this all the way apart and blow through this. Like one way that I do this on a job, so we're going to come in here, we're going to brake clean the heck out of that. Then we're going to take our air and we're going to, it's impossible for me to show you, like, I don't know, maybe we'll see if this will show it. Focus. You can see that moving those shims. So that's blowing those little particles out of there. Now, if I take a fork apart and it's super, super dirty, this oil was not. This internal oil was not very dirty. If I take it apart and it's super, super dirty, that whole valve comes apart, each shim gets clean, we put it all back together. We have to charge a little bit more money for that, but we make it good. This oil was super clean, so we're all good. That's one benefit to twin chamber or closed chamber forks, is that inner part only has to deal with the wear and stuff from this piston band and the outside or the inside of this tube, which again, if the oil's clean, isn't much, whatever. It perpetuates itself. So if you keep things clean, it gets less dirty, it causes less problems, you have less to deal with, it costs you less money, all that stuff. So anyway, I hope that helps explain why it's so important to change your oil and service your suspension before your seals leak, or on a regular interval. It really does make a big difference in how these things work. Thanks guys, I hope that was informative. Comment below if you have any questions at all. If there's anything I missed, please let me know. This whole channel is all about a big community getting together and sharing information so that we can all do better. Anyway, I'll see you guys on the next one.